This Promptober was full of challenges. Welcome challenges, but challenges nonetheless. So let's get into the prompts then. Today we have on Inktober side of things, we are on the 17th, so we have journal. It's not very Halloween-esque, but let's see what we can do with that. So on Creeptober side of things, we add, on the 17th, we have festival. So one could consider Halloween to be a festival, but traditionally I wouldn't really label it as such, but let's see what we ended up doing with this. All right, so we start with our troublemakers. I knew in what position and what sort of they were doing in my mind, but I still didn't know in what scenario they were doing that in. Or at least I didn't know the angle and I didn't know what scenario I was going with, because there were multiple different versions of the scenario that I was having with, which was a Japanese festival, the thing that I grew up with back when I lived in north of Tokyo. I guess I didn't actually ever live in Tokyo, but I do have a vague memory of a festival grounds, but I forget if I saw that on DeviantArt, if I saw that on ArtStation, if I saw that on Blender Market. Where I ended up seeing it was Booth, which is a more Japanese-oriented sort of 3D model seller's site sort of thing. So our first topic is journal, which I tried to exemplify here with a book with writing in it, and then I added a quill instead of a finger so that it was less of a guidebook sort of thing. And to my surprise, as I hope it is of yours, we jump into Unity. Yes, this is not just a pure Blender creation. We actually jump into Unity for this one. And this was actually the start of my creative turmoil here. So I actually tried to prepare myself for this way earlier on, back in it was like July or one of those earlier months. But my problems here were textures weren't working, other things weren't working, so the environment wouldn't work in Blender, so I had to kind of work with it in here, but then the character textures wouldn't work in Unity, so I had to figure out a way to try to transfer those into Unity. So it was which one was an easier process to work with, and it turned out that working with the environment in Unity and transferring the character textures into Unity was just a lot easier, and so that's what I sort of went with. And here's what we ended up with.